in relay.
Good morning, everyone. We welcome. Great to have you all here. We got about 4 minutes, and then we will start. Just waiting for a couple more people to come in. So really looking forward to a great session today. See, we got some more people joining. Great to have everyone here. So we've got about 3 minutes, and then we will start. Okay, we've said Veronica join us. Welcome, Veronica. We've got about 1 minute, and then we'll start. I know people tend to come in a little bit later on these things, but that's great, just so that you guys know I'm using 2 screens. So if I'm not looking at you, I'm also looking at the second screen. But we'll start in 1 minute. I see Jenny's just joined us. Jenny, welcome. We're just gonna, well, probably got about 30 seconds, and then we will start. Okay, guys, welcome. Really great to have everyone here today. And as the people come in, I will let them in. As I said earlier on, I'm running 2 screens. So if I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at the other screen. So really excited for today's session, and really some great learnings coming your way. And we must remember today is all about you. So it is just about you and your business. And we're going to be talking about that going forward. So I'm just going to share my screen, and then we can kick off. Okay, yeah, so welcome. I just want to open the participants in the chat box so that we can see what's going on. So yeah, as I said, great to have you with us here today, and really looking forward to some great learnings. As I said, today is all about you, and it's not about me, it's about you and your business. But to kick off, I feel I need to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about Action Coach. And that is just so that you can see where we come from and what do we do. So who am I? So my name is Peter De Longer. I've been in business well over 30 years. Started off as an engineer working in fast-moving consumable goods. I used to work for Unilever. I specialized in electrical automation systems, and those are the big control rooms and computerized systems that run plants and factories. And from there, I moved into sales and marketing. So I spent 21 years in manufacturing in total. But I moved over into sales and marketing, where I did sales and marketing for Power Tech. And I eventually then moved over to General Electric, where I did sales and marketing as well for General Electric, specializing in electrical manufacturing and automation systems and automation areas within the business. I'm just letting some more guys in. And from there, I became general manager for General Electric, and I was general manager for about 5 years, and I ran a plant of 60 people. And just want to mute. And really, it was really great. We manufactured electrical components, electrical switchgear, and it was really a great time. And then from there, I went out and I bought a steel manufacturing business called Tipro Electrical, and we manufactured steel for the electrical business and the automation business. I supplied places like Eskom, GE, Siemens, ABB, DMAC cranes. And I employed about 32 people, and we were turning about 16 million rand a year. And my mission in life is to impact the lives of business owners and leaders who are awake at 2 a.m. in the morning searching for a solution to their business. And I think that is important. I think every business owner has been there. And coming from a field like I am, you're coming from where you're an expert, you're good at doing what you do. But when it comes to running a business, growing a business, doing the sales and marketing, doing the finance, managing the team and the people, it's a whole different ball game. And you've got two options. One, you can actually learn on your own and learn the hard lessons that business can give you. Or you can learn with somebody like myself who's been there, done it, and can teach you the sort of the quick ways and the short ways in terms of getting there without going through all the pain. So I'm married. I've got two beautiful children. It's Genevieve and Michael. Genevieve is my oldest daughter. She's married. I've got 3 beautiful grandchildren, as you can see there at the bottom. So who is Action Coach? And I think that is also important to understand. Who is Action Coach? An Action Coach is the world leader when it comes to business coaching. We're based in the US, in Las Vegas is our head office, and it's still a family-owned business owned by Brad Sugars. And yeah, we have over 1,000 offices in more than 80 countries. And currently we coach roughly at about 15,000 businesses each week from the US right across to Vietnam, right into Africa. So we've got offices in South Africa, we've got offices in Botswana, we've got offices in Namibia. And it's all about education, taking the business owner, the business leader to the next level. Because at the end of the day, your business can only grow to the level of your skills and your knowledge, which is very important. So here are just a couple of my clients. This is what they achieved last year in a Wellgrow Industrial Mining Supplies. It's a family-owned business run by Carol and her brothers on the left-hand side, Carl, and they grew their profits well over 100% in the last 12 months. And they achieved their goals within the first 10 months of coaching. We've got Lasito, who's part of Dispersive Consulting, as an accounting firm. And in 2020, he grew his business by 120%. And then in 2021, he went over and he then doubled his business. We've also got Blitztech. They do lightning protection. And he grew his business by over 100% last year. And he really achieved this within the first 8 months of coaching. And I need to fix it. I've got the wrong name. And there you can see on the top right-hand corner, a month ago, we had awards for our clients. And those are the guys that really, really got the awards. And they got what we call the Action Man Award. And this is an award that is sought after throughout the world. It is the ultimate award that you can achieve within the Action Coach community. So really great and well done to these guys. So how do they do it? How do they achieve these type of results? And it's done through various forms of programs that we offer. We offer group coaching, which is called Action Club, and that's like what we call a practical MBA. We all know you can do an MBA, but then how do you apply it? How do you learn it? How do you take it to the next level? Then we've got Mentor Club, where we also do face-to-face group coaching, where once a month or once every 2 weeks, we meet together with a group of business owners and leaders, and we have a group coaching session, or we do one-to-one coaching where I meet with you twice a month or 4 times a month, and we really take your business to the next level. Pricing is always dependent on where you are in your business and what package suits you the best. So my purpose today is to really, really reward your time. Excuse me, really, really reward your time. Invest your time with some fast and easy ways to increase sales and profits, free up your time, and really create an amazing team. And most importantly is to challenge the way you think. And I think that is important, is to challenge the way you think. So the first thing I want to go into is, what is the 2 most expensive words in the English language? And this is the word I know. And we all know this word. What happens when we say this word, I know? It closes us up for learning. And this is extremely important to understand, is that we need to know, we don't know what we don't know. So I always say, like, my teenage child is, let's say he's 15 or 16. He thinks he knows how to drive a car. And Dad, I know how to drive a car. I know how to drive. You don't have to tell me how to drive a car. I know how to drive a car. Until you put him in the seat and say, all right, drive. And then suddenly he discovers, well, actually, he doesn't know how to drive. But because he's got this attitude that he knows how to drive and he thinks he knows how to drive, he then closes himself up. He's not open to learning. He's not open to suggestions, and he's not open to any new ideas until he discovers that actually he doesn't know what he doesn't know. And what we want to do here today is we want to remove the I know factor and replace it with, isn't that interesting? Because when we replace it with, isn't that interesting, if something is said here today that you don't agree with, it allows you to go away, think about what was said, and come back and have an educated discussion. Because you might say, well, I don't think that would work like this, but it might work like that. Or no, I've tried this before and it hasn't worked. But it allows you just to go away, think about what was said, and come back and have an educated discussion. Secondly, we've got to always understand is, where are we operating as business owners and leaders? Where are you operating? We talk about point of power. And point of power is about, if I'm operating below the point of power, this means everything that goes wrong, everything that's not happening within my business, I've got blame, excuse, and denial. I blame somebody else. I blame the economy. I blame my people. I didn't have time. This is excuses. I'm too busy working in the business. Denial is not my fault. And you've probably got teams within your people that say that, well, it's not my fault. It was somebody else's fault. And the problem is that creates an issue. And where you want to be operating as a business owner, a business leader, is you want to be operating above the point of power, where you take ownership, you are accountable, and you are responsible. Because at the end of the day, we do have COVID, and COVID has affected everyone. So how do you react to that situation? Do we say, well, it's COVID and blame, excuse, and denial? Because if we're operating there, it makes us powerless. But if we say, yes, it is COVID, but we need to change, we need to adapt, we need to move forward, how do you move to above the point of power? Because that is where you're powerful. That is where you take action. And that is where you take control. Now, a lot of my clients actually use this when they come to appraise their people and their team. And they ask a simple question. Where is John operating? Is he operating above the point of power, or is he operating below the point of power? Now, a lot of you who have staff will know that you do have business staff that are operating below the point of power. It's not my fault. It's always someone else's fault. The clients won't see me. Pricing is an issue. It's denial. And you want to be operating, you and your team need to be operating above the point of power. So you got to think about it. Sometimes, and let's be honest, we wake up in the morning and we are just below the point of power. We have no energy. You just feel that to get up and work today and do the grind is just overwhelming. And then you're there below the point of power. COVID, and now you've got the Ukraine war. Shit, how's that going to affect us in business over the next couple of months? And what are we doing to move ourselves from that point to above the point of power? Next thing I want to share with you guys is participation. Very much so, participate. Be present. Be with us. Switch off your cell phone. Switch off your emails. Be present. It's 90 minutes and you're gone. You're free. So be present. Participate. Write down what your learnings are today. Write down what it is that you've gotten from this. And we're going to look at taking some actions in terms of what you've learned from here going forward. So a little bit about learning. And one of the things we always want is to have fun. And it's so important when you think about what is going on in business and the stresses that we go through. So often we forget to have fun. We forget to celebrate the wins. We forget to laugh. We forget to share with the team. And businesses that we want to have fun. And when we're having fun, we're learning. So we're hopefully going to have some fun here today as well, just to enhance that learning. And what else can you expect? And this is what we call BFOs. And these are blinding flashes of the obvious. So what are BFOs? Blinding flashes of the obvious. And these are things that you just know. These are things that just make sense. You're going to learn them here today. You're going to walk away and you're just going to say, well, I just need to apply this. I don't even need to think about it. I don't need to analyze it. Something that maybe you've done in the past, something that you know you need to be doing, but yet you're not doing. And we're expecting you to walk away with at least 2 or 3 BFOs today that will really propel your business to the next level. So as I said, participation is important. So, I'm going to launch some polls. There's only 3 polls throughout the session, but it's just to get a sense of who's on the call and what type of business you're in. So it's going to be, how long have you been in business? How many people do you employ? And, what was your turnover for 2021? Or what are you expecting your turnover to be this year or last year? So I just want to go and launch the poll. So there I have launched the poll. So please go ahead and fill it in. So how long have you been in business? So it's 0 to 1 years, 1 to 3 years, 4 to 8, 9 to 20, more than 20 years. And then the next one is, how many people do you employ? So is it 1 to 5, 6 to 10, is 11 to 49? So really participate in the polls here. Is it 50 to 100? And then what is your expected turnover? Where is your business been running? Is it like below the 2 million rand? Is it 2 to 15? So we've got a great crowd of people on the board. I'm going to give you another 30 seconds just to complete the polls. So really, really interesting to see that we've got a really great crowd here today. So I'm very excited for that. So I'm going to end the poll. So we've got a couple of one to 5s. We've got some new small guys starting up. I mean, been around, been around for a couple of years. We've got some nice cars that are sitting in the 5 to 10 million range mark and have been around 6 to 10 years. So guys, really great to see your participation here. So I mean, there we still guys are still coming in. I mean, we've got we've got a couple 10 to 20 million. So we've got a good spectrum of guys, 9 to 20 years. So really thank you for that. So I really do appreciate it. It really helps me understand who am I talking to and where we're going today. So let's get started. So first thing, I want permission to be your coach for the next 90 minutes. Really, just educate you, have some fun in the process, and take action. So yeah, just give me in your own mind. Say yes, thank you, Peter. You've got permission to be my coach for the next 90 minutes. So let's move back into learning. So when we talk about learning, there's a left brain and there's a right brain. So left brain is sort of your engineers, your architects, it's words, maths, logic, processes, details. These are the guys that like straight lines, square boxes. And then you get the right-hand side of the brain. These are artistic people, music, their creativity. They deal a lot with emotion. They look at the bigger picture. And what happens when these two sides don't work together, it creates confusion. So you can just think about it in your life. If you're a very logical person, maths orientated, words, straight lines, square boxes, and your spouse or your wife is more artistic. And I'm blessed with the fact that myself and my son are left brain and my wife and my daughter are right brain. So for myself and my son, deadlines are specific. Everything needs to be structured. With my wife and my daughter, it's sort of all over the place. They don't mind, whether it's a deadline is like a sort of a guideline, and what it does, it creates stress, creates anxiety, and creates confusion. And we want to today just to encourage you guys, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. It's just to let the two sides of the brains work together, because that's going to give you the most learning. So colors are great. I mean, if you've got colored pens, make notes with colored pens. We can't call out the answer, but you can certainly type the answers out in the chat box. Raise your hands. What we must remember, words are short-term memory, pictures are long-term memory. And I've seen this with my son. When he was studying at university, his study notes were always in colors. He always drew pictures. So yeah, draw pictures, have colors, make notes, and this is how you're going to get the most out of today's session. So what I want to do is I just want to launch a second poll and just to get a sense of what are some of the challenges you have at the moment, and how do you feel about the future of your business? And if we have a look at COVID, how did it impact you over the last, we started in 2020, in the last 2 years, how does that impacted you? So I'm just going to launch that poll. And there I'm launching it right now. So you should have it. So what are some of the challenges you face? So if we have a look, main challenge at the moment, is it cash flow? Cash flow to pay expenses? Is it getting new business? Are you not getting enough clients? Is it retaining your current clients? Is it motivating your staff? Is it collecting your debts, or not enough time in a day to do what is needed to do? How do you feel about the future of your business? And this is a great question, because I've seen this change. Are you very negative? Are you somewhat negative? Are you sort of neutral? Are you somewhat positive, very positive? Now, I can say this question has really changed over the last 2 years, because when COVID hit, it was very negative, somewhat negative and neutral. Everyone was in a bad space. As we moved out of 2021 into 2022, I see a lot of people are saying somewhat positive, very positive. And that's where I say 2021 was the year to build the foundation of your business. 2022 is the year to make profits and really grow. And we've got, I can see we have a very, very similar result here again today, where majority of the people are somewhat positive, very positive. We have a very small minority that are saying they're very negative, and then you got to think about why that is and what needs to change in your business. How has COVID impacted? And COVID impact has pretty much impacted everyone. If we have a look at that, 33% of you online here today that the COVID, and actually, no, it's actually more, 40, almost 45% of you are saying that COVID has seriously impacted your ability. And that is great. I mean, it is something that we see. The question is now, obviously, and that's why you're here today, how do you move it forward? We've got 14% of guys are saying, really doing well. We're really growing our business right now. So you've got to just think about it. And as we talk through, how do you stop that bleed? How do you stop everything coming out? So let's just have a look at some of the challenges. I mean, cash flow, 57% of you saying cash flow is a big issue. 100% of you saying, getting new business is a challenge for you. And I mean, that is 7 out of 7. Everyone has said, getting new business. We all need to get new business. 43% are saying retaining current clients. And that is so, so important over this time. Motivating staff, 14%, not a big. Collecting debts is another thing. We've seen cash flow continually play a big role in not collecting the money in time. You just, clients are not paying you. You're not generating enough revenue. You're not making enough profit. Your margins have been eroded. And then 29% time. Time is always an issue. How do we free up time so that you can keep growing your business and working on your business, strategizing and taking your business to the next level? So really, really great, guys. I mean, thank you for filling this in. I mean, really, really excellent. Just so good to see what's going on here. So I'm going to end the poll now. So yeah, so let's think about your business at the moment based on the polls that you filled in, and we're looking at this and we say, well, is your business driving you, or are you driving your business? Which picture right now is representative of you? And I think that's important to understand. What picture right now is representative of you, and where would you like to be? If you're the guy at the top left-hand corner, well, there you've got it, stressed, working. Are you sitting on the beach, on a deck? Are you able right now to take 3 weeks out of your business, go away where there's no cell phone signal, no internet signal, and come back to a business that's growing? And I think that is extremely, extremely important. And what does that vision look like? And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. So what is the definition of a successful business? The definition of a successful business is a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. So it's 3 levels. Firstly, a commercial, profitable enterprise. That's what's got to happen first. Very important. Secondly, that works. And this is where you're getting people and team and to work, and then eventually works without you. So you can go away for a long weekend. You can go on holiday. You can go overseas and come back knowing that your business is growing. The next thing is, what is the purpose of the business? The purpose of the business is to provide you with the quality of life you deserve. And this is extremely important. When you guys went into business or started your career, what was that vision you had in terms of what was this business going to give you in terms of quality of life? And is it providing you with the quality of life, or are you currently sacrificing yourself and your quality of life to achieve the business goals? And remember, the purpose of the business is to fund and feed the quality of your life that you absolutely deserve. So it's great. It's just something to really think about and say, well, rethink about why you went into business and where do you want to be and how do you get there? And I think that is extremely, extremely important right now. So then we move on. Economic cycles. This is something really, really great. economic business cycles. We get summer, autumn, winter, and spring, just like the seasons. Business has seasons, summer, autumn, winter, and spring. And if you had to look at this and you say, well, where are we at the moment? And I would say we're in the bottom of the curve from winter moving towards spring right now. But how does it work? So if you look at summer and you compare a fruit farm and a fruit farm in summer, if you think about it, the trees are all green, the trees are full of fruit. There's a hive of activity, lots of people, machinery, everyone's picking, everyone's packing, everyone's delivering. Fruit is coming in and it's just going crazy. Then we start to move into autumn, and so there's no more fruit. The leaves are starting to turn brown. Farmer starts to sort of let the people go. There's less activity on the farm. Machines are starting to be mothballed, which is mainly cleaning up. Fruit is going into cold storage, frozen storage, and then we hit autumn. And we start moving into winter. And winter is when there's nothing going on. Everything's dead. There are no leaves, very little activity. The farmer probably takes some leave. But this is where cash flow now becomes a serious challenge. If the farmer hasn't put enough money away during the summer months, he's going to have a challenge in the winter months to get through, because here in winter, he's probably going to start to service his machines as he starts to prepare for spring. He's got to, as we move to spring, he's got to prepare the field. He's got to prepare the fields, put lime, fertilizer in, starts to bring people back in, moves to spring, and then eventually goes around to summer. So, you know, we look at our economy and we look at our business, and they're not interlinked, but we can definitely see COVID put us, I would say, most businesses into a winter. And spring is coming. And we do get those cold snaps, you know, as spring starts to come, it starts to warm up, we get all excited. The fruit trees start to shoot buds, and boom, next thing we have this cold front and everything is set back. And, you know, I'm looking at our economy and I'm thinking, well, you know, 2022, we're moving towards spring, we're coming out of winter, and bang, we hit the Ukraine-Russia war. And this is going to give us a little bit of a bump in terms of that cold front that's going to hit us. How do we react to that? How do we make sure that limits the impact in your business? Fuel prices are going up, corn, wheat, sunflower oil. Now I believe might have a shortage of sunflower oil. They're saying that if Ukraine continues past April, we might have to go into fuel rationing here in South Africa. So we have power rationing. We have load shedding, we have water issues. Now we're going to might have fuel issues. How's that going to all affect your business? And how are you going to work differently to make sure your business continues through spring and eventually through to summer, where you're making serious money? So I want to share with you now the entrepreneurial ladder. This is the road that you've got to walk in terms of being an entrepreneur, being a leader. And it starts off back at our school days, where we're at school, we learn to read, we learn to write, we learn maths. We are learning skills here that we are going to use in business going forward. We also, after school, we go and get a secondary education where we become an expert in a field. You know, whether it's a plumber or whether it's a heart surgeon or a hair beautician or whatever it is in between, you go and you become an expert. And then once you become an expert, you go and become an employee. This is where you're working for a business, and this is where you start to earn money from a job. You work, they pay you a salary, and most importantly, this is where you start to learn how business is run, how businesses operate. And this is the opportunity that you've got to go. You don't just go in and do your job, you learn. You learn every aspect. You look at what everyone is doing and you learn from it. Then you move up to self-employed. Now you've decided you've been working for corporate, you've been working for large organizations, and you've had enough. You're now going to go out and you're going to start a business and you become self-employed. So who is self-employed? Self-employed is a person that when he does a job, he gets paid. Once again, heart surgeon, specialist doctor, plumber, electrician, hairdresser, you're now self-employed. You've got your little business, and what you've suddenly discovered is you now work for the worst boss ever, and that is yourself. But the fact of the matter is, you do work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. Then you've got to move up to what we call the manager level. And this is where you start earning money from managing people and assets. So now your business has been growing. You're starting to employ people that are going to do the work that you don't want to do, and the work that can free up your time so that you can start focusing on growing the business, taking the business to the next level. And this is the manager level. You earn money from managing people and assets. Then eventually you become what we call the owner. And this is where you make money from profits. So the issue that I've found over the years is summertimes, things are great. You're making lots of money. You're buying great cars. You're buying fancy houses. You're spending all the money. What you got to be doing here is the profits from the business. You got to take a portion of those profits of that business and invest it somewhere, whether it's in property or shares or other businesses, invest it to make more money. Because financial freedom is only achieved when your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses. Up until this point, if you're making money and you're spending the profits, you're only ever 1 month away from not being able to pay your bills. And then eventually you move up to the investor level. This is where you make money from money. So this is now the money you've taken with the profits, you've invested it, and you're making more money. Then you're taking that money and you're investing it again in other businesses, and you then make more money. And this is how you build your wealth up to an entrepreneur. And this is what gets you through the winter months when winter comes, until eventually you become an entrepreneur where you create money with other people's ideas and network. And this is where you take partnerships in other businesses. This is where you're building your network, and that network is helping you generate more money. And you know, not everybody wants to be an investor. Not everybody wants to be the owner. Some people are happy to be the self-employed and the manager. So it all depends on exactly what you want. But the issue that I've found over the years is most people have just got a job. I've gone out, I've started a business, I'm stressed, I've got lots of anxiety, I've got to work. When I work, I can't sell. So when because I'm too busy doing the work, so I have these cycles, cash flow cycles that continually go up and down, up and down, up and down. When I've got work, I've got money. Then when the work's finished, I've got no more work because I haven't been selling. So we must always remember, definition for a job is just overbroke. As I said, 1 month away, constantly 1 month away from not being able to pay your bills. Government locks us down. I see now in China, they've locked down a whole northern region of COVID. People have to stay at home. Damn, if that has to happen to us again, how are your finances? Can you survive? So the biggest reason why businesses fail is burnout. And this is where you're on the couch at 2 a.m. in the morning and you just can't find a solution. You're just overly stressed. You don't know which way to turn. You don't know where you're going. And this is now creating just a huge amount of stress and anxiety where you've got no one to turn to. And we always need to be careful that you don't go into that state. And this is that fear. This is that fear that causes the anxiety. What if? What if this doesn't work? What if I don't collect my money? What if I don't make more sales? What if I can't pay my bills? Fear, fear, fear. This is what drives the burnout, drives the stress, drives the anxiety. And one thing that we always say is fear is the false expectation that appears real. Now, fear is important. When you're driving down the road and somebody runs in front of your car, fear jumps up, adrenaline kicks in, you jump on the brakes and you don't ride over somebody. So fear is good. But in business, fear can be debilitating, can push you to below the point of power. And this is that false expectation. And I often say false emotion is another way to look at that appears real. What if, what if? And I've had people come into coaching and they say, well, Peter, what if this works? Can I cope? Well, I've yet to find somebody who hasn't coped. So sometimes fear of success, sometimes fear of this is going to take too much work, sometimes fear of I could lose my house. These are all things that we're faced with every day. So, and this then causes us to really, not like our businesses, dislike our businesses, hate our businesses. You don't want to wake up in the morning and face what's coming your way. So how do you reignite that passion in your business? The thought of just going to work for another day is just so overwhelming. And the first thing I can say, guys, which is really, really important, get a mentor or coach. That's it. You need somebody who has an outside perspective, who is not emotionally connected to your business, that you can bounce ideas off, talk about your challenges so you can keep you above the point of power. Never stop learning, and well done to you guys for being here today. You need to keep learning. Extremely important. Never stop learning. As I said when we started this, your business can only grow to your level of expertise. And I've seen it where successful businesses, big businesses, the CEO, the MD, the owner, suddenly wake up one day and they say to me, Peter, I suddenly realized my skills and knowledge are no longer good enough to take this business to the next level. And that is something you've got to constantly do. Rediscover your why. Why do you do what you do? Why did you go into business in the first place? Extremely important to understand that why are you here, and how can you rekindle that? Because at the end of the day, your clients, your team, all going to resonate with your why. Why do we do what we do, and why do you go into business for yourself? And is that really showing up? Are you achieving that? Involve your team. If you've got a team, remember you're not alone. Involve them in the ideas, involve them in the decision making, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. So when we have a look at your business at the moment, and you've got to think about where you are, and you've got to take stock of what I've said so far, and to really empower us. Because at the end of the day, when we look at the picture on the right-hand side, this is what we call the identity iceberg. This is who you are as a person. We see above the waterline is the small part that everybody sees. And these are your reactions, these are your actions, your behavior, your decisions. These come out to your results. This is what's going to drive what you're doing. But what drives your actions? What drives your behavior? And what allows you to make the right decisions? And it comes down to your skills, your beliefs, your values, and your identity. Your identity is who you are, your why, as I spoke about. Your values as a person. Do you know what your values are? Have you documented them? But most importantly, it comes down to your beliefs and your skills. Because if you believe something's not going to work, it's not going to work. If your belief is that you don't have the skills or something's gone wrong, how do you improve your skills so that you change your belief? Because that is your environment. That is who you are. So very important, as I said, your skills, your belief are probably the biggest drivers in terms of whether you're operating above the point of power, below the point of power. And these now give you the ability to make the right decisions, have the right behavior, take the right actions, and therefore get the results that you want. And that is so extremely important. So Brad Sugars is our CEO and founder, and I'm going to take you through what we call the 6 steps to massive results. So we start off at the bottom session, and this is the mastery, and this is where we set a commercial, profitable enterprise. This is where we start to eliminate the chaos of the business. Then we go to niche, and we create predictable cash flow. Then we start to leverage, where we leverage people so that your systems can work, so that you're freeing up your time. Extremely important then. This is where we have your team. How is your team performing, which you structure for growth until eventually you get this business going as a well-oiled machine. You've got managers, leaders running it, and then you eventually get to the point where you're creating passive income that allows you to go out and build other businesses and achieve massive results. So when we look at the coaching system, there's the six steps that I spoke to you about. There's the 5 ways, which I'm going to get into in a moment. And then there's the 4 ways, which is your people, education, systems and technologies, delivery and distribution, accounting and testing and measuring. So mastery is all about a commercial enterprise. This is really creating that, removing that chaos from the business. And 90% of the chaos is caused by not knowing where the business is, not knowing our finances, not knowing how much we're invoicing for the month, not knowing how much we're quoting. And this creates the chaos in the business. So there are 4 areas of mastery, and that's destination mastery, money mastery, time mastery, and delivery mastery. And we're going to look at this right now. We're going to start off with destination mastery. And I want you to think about, where is it that you want to be in the next 12 months? What is the road to the future of your business? And this is so important, because when we know where you're going, it gives clarity. So we don't jump in a car and say, well, we're going on holiday, and you jump in a car and you drive. You don't do that. You know where your end is. You know that I'm going to Cape Town. But now there's a lot of ways I can go to Cape Town. I can go via Kimberley. I can go via Bloemfontein. I can even go through the Transkei. But what is the road that I'm going to choose? And how am I going to action it? And secondly, how am I going to know where I am at what time, so I know whether I'm moving in the right direction? So it's very important to have a look at this and say, well, okay, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, but specifically 12 months, what does my business look like there at the top? There's a little house. What does my business look like? And what do I need to do over the next 12 months to achieve that vision that I see for the business? And this is what we do. We break it down into 90-day segments. And I take my clients away every 90 days. We fill a boardroom. We do some great learning, but they plan their business every 90 days, because we need to know in the next 90 days, what do you got to do today, tomorrow, next week, and the following month in order to achieve your 90-day goal? Because by achieving your 90-day goal, you're working towards achieving your vision for the 12 months. So as I said, you always need to have the end in mind. I know I'm going to Cape Town. Boom, end in mind. Great. I know where I'm going. What does this do? It gives me direction, gives me focus, gives me momentum. Also helps me be the person I need to become. When I look at my goals, they've got to be specific. They've got to be what we call SMART: specific, measurable, attainable. They need to be results driven. They need to be a time frame. So I know I want to be in Cape Town in 14 hours time. So in terms of my results, I know that by Google Maps these days, I know exactly where I am and whether I'm going to achieve that target. Is it attainable for me to get to Cape Town in 14 hours? Yes, it is. Can I measure it? Yes, I have, because I've got Google Maps. Ever specific, I know exactly which route I'm going to take. I know exactly which road I'm going to go. And that road is going to allow me to achieve there in 14 hours. So that is how you build that vision for yourself. And you got to look at it and say, well, what is it? Then we look at money mastery. And this is quite amazing, because it still amazes me today to see how many people do not know their finances. They do not know what they did last month or last year. I still get people who say to me, oh, no, I haven't heard from my accountant yet, but we normally only get the numbers every 3rd month. Or I've been asking the accounting department for the last 3 months for numbers, so we don't know our numbers, so we don't know where we are, so we don't know where we're going. So too many business owners do not have the ability to make a decision of how to go forward, because they don't know where they come from and they don't know where they are right now. And this is extremely, extremely important. And if you want to manage something, you have to constantly measure it. And this is both your historic numbers and your future numbers. You need to have clarity on your goals and your vision. It's all about budgeting and all about reporting. And if we look at this is a great graph in terms of profit versus revenue versus fixed cost. we all know that your fixed cost is the red line, and this is the things that you have to pay. You have to pay your rent, you have to pay your salaries, you have to pay your water and lights. It doesn't change whether you do business or not. Then you get the purple line. This is your variable cost. These are costs that you need to spend in order to do a job. You need to buy a product because it's going into a job because you're going to sell it. You need to put people on site, or you need to employ people to do a certain task. That becomes a variable cost. The yellow line now becomes your total expenses. So this is your total expenses with your fixed costs and your variable costs. And the yellow line and the blue line is your invoicing. And we can see quite clearly there in the center where the blue line and the yellow line join is your break-even point. And how many people do not know what their break-even point is right now? Do you actually know how much money you need to invoice in order to pay your expenses? And the thing that's nice here is the more you invoice, you can see how the profit gap grows, and it grows and it grows and grows. So it's very, very important to understand where you are financially so that you know where you're going. So when we look at money mastery, you need to know your numbers. Now, if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going. Every decision you make now is going to either make you money or cost you money. And how do you deal with it? And most often it's going to be, if it's not thought about properly, it's going to cost you money and not make you money. Know what your break-even and profit-even point is. Very, very important. Use your money wisely, especially now we've got another bump coming in our economy. External funding is always available, but guys, I want to just be cautious here. Based on the information that I'm seeing, there could be interest rates could start going up, especially because of the war and everything. And government needs to keep inflation within a certain target range. And if it's not going to go there, one of the things they do is increase interest rates. So very, very important. Just watch external funding. Cash is king at the moment. You need to have cash in hand, and that is just so important. So we, this goes hand in hand with time, because money and time actually work quite well together. And it's about building your team, getting everything going. But most importantly right now is when it comes to your time, where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time on the high priority tasks, or are you using it to Google, Facebook, and things like that? So are your invoices being sent on time at the moment? Are they being sent when the job is complete, or are you only doing your invoices the 24th of the month? Are you collecting your debts on time? So if a client hasn't paid within 5 to 7 days, are you on them? Are you trying to collect your debts? Because once that goes to 60 days, 90 days, it becomes a real challenge to collect that debt, and it's going to cause you problems, Know your KPIs. What are your key performance indicators? What are you measuring now, right now? Positive cash flow is so important, and focus on high productivity. And I'm going to get into that right now when we talk about where are you spending your time. and this is important. So you arrive at work in the morning. It's sort of 7:30, everyone's sort of starting to arrive. You sit down, you switch on your laptop, and you think, what am I going to do today? So I'll tell you what, I'm going to check my emails. So I go in and I check my emails. The next thing, Bundle Buy comes up, or 1 day only, or there's a special, and you click on the special. Next thing, you spend the next 20 minutes searching the internet, looking at great things on sale. This is what we call the noise. This is the not urgent, not important stuff. Next thing, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, you said, right, you need to settle down now. You need to start working. And as you start working, the phone rings, or a staff member walks into the office, and there's a crisis. Client's unhappy, deliveries are not done on time, you've delivered incorrectly, there's something wrong in the factory, there's something wrong in the store, and suddenly you have to deal with urgent but not important stuff. Now you have to spend your time fighting fires. Next thing, it's 4 o'clock, 4:15, everyone's going home, and you still haven't done anything that you set out to do because you've been fighting fires all day. And Where you need to be balancing your work is you need to be balancing your work between urgent and important. Important is sales, important is marketing, important is testing and measuring the numbers. Urgent is focusing on what is broken, what needs to be fixed. And this is where we say you need to get a balance of 60% of your time needs to be focused around the urgent and the important stuff. And then you get down to the not urgent but important. So is it urgent to phone that client today who you quoted last week? No. Is it important? Yes. No, but I didn't phone him. I didn't have time. So next thing, 3-4 days go by, you still haven't phoned him. It does eventually become important, but you need to be spending at least 20% of your time working on the important stuff. Being here today, is it urgent? No, but it is important that you're here today. Focus on the importance of 20% of your time. 5 hours a week needs to be spent on sales, marketing, strategies, systems within the business that frees up your time so that you can move forward. Need to understand that. That's where you need to be focusing on. And then build consistency. Problem is that I've seen it. Guys come, they attend workshop, they attend a session, like it's a go away, they're highly motivated. They start implementing stuff, they start doing it. 3 weeks to 6 weeks later, you default back to your old state and the consistency is gone. The consistency is the foundation for healthy growth. You need to build consistency in your business. When you guys are having your sales meetings on a Monday, are they happening every Monday, or do they happen every second Monday? Or is there always an excuse why they can't happen? No consistency. How's that going to show up in your business? So very important to understand that. Now I want to talk about niche, and this is about what makes you guys so special. Why would I spend 10 or 15% more with you versus your opposition? And this is a great question. Why would I spend more time with you? And it comes down to, what am I telling my clients? What makes me unique? How can I take a single phrase line and communicate it to the market that says, this is why I'm the best in the field? Because the issue is, at the moment, a lot of businesses I talk to are dealing with price issues, price erosion, competing on price. Everyone tells me, oh, price. The problem is, as you erode price, you erode cash, you erode profits, and eventually you run out of money. So you've got a commodity side here, and this is where we're acting on price. So where you want to be is you want to be on the innovative side. This is where I'm prepared to pay more. I'm prepared to pay more for you because I'm getting a service from you. I'm getting a guarantee for you. I understand what I'm getting. So innovation, I always look at like medication. I develop a new medication for cure cancer. It's innovative. People are going to pay whatever they can pay for it. Eventually, 5-6 years down the line, opposition are allowed to now copy my product and make generics. And suddenly, my product moves over to a commodity item where we now start competing on price. So I always say, guys, sell the high margin products first. Look at your business. Why would I pay more, and how do you create that? And it comes down to your unique selling proposition guarantee. You know, guarantees are great. Guarantees, most of you have to give guarantees on your work. If it's a motor mechanic, you're giving 3 months guarantee on your work. If you're selling product, you got to give 12 months guarantee on your work. What is the guarantee that you are communicating to your clients? You have to give it anyway. So are you telling your clients about it? So guarantee could be a plumber that says, you know, I guarantee that when I leave your property, I leave it cleaner than when I arrive. Could be an electrician that says, if I'm more than 30 minutes late, your first hour is free. What is that guarantee? And I want you to really think about that going forward. And right now, what is your guarantee? And take a moment right now and write that down. Reflect. What is your guarantee? What have you learned so far? And how can you apply this in your business? I want you guys just to take a moment, think about it. What is that guarantee? What are you doing right now? And how can you apply it in your business? So while you guys are writing that, I want to move on because I really want to get into some exciting stuff now. And this is really about the sales stuff. And we all know, and this is what we call the 5 ways. And I spoke earlier on about the 5 ways briefly. You all know how many customers you have. You all should know what your revenue is, and you should know how much money you make. But the result is that it's just results. At the end of the day, that is the result. Doesn't allow you to take your business to the next level. So this is what we call the 5 ways numbers. You can see the items are in red. It's customers, revenue, profits. Okay, so you know those. So when we start at the top, number of leads, this is your marketing. What are you doing every single day to get people to put up their hand and say, I want to talk to you? These are your leads. So typical example, you've got a hardware store and you have 4,000 people walk through the front door. That is a lead. You've got Facebook, you're on Instagram, you've got email marketing, you're doing cold calling, you're doing face-to-face visits, whatever it is. What are you doing to generate leads? What are you doing so that people put up their hand and says, yes, I would like to talk to you about your business and the products and services you offer. So yeah, we can say a hardware store came, at 4,000 people walk into the store. Conversion rate is your sales. This is out of those people that put up their hand and said, well, I want to talk to you about your business and product. How many of them actually bought something? And this is where we call sales. So when 4,000 people walked into the hardware store, 25% of them bought something, which means 1,000 customers last month bought something in my hardware store. So my conversion rate was only 25%. Secondly, I also know that most of the customers came back and they bought from me twice. So they came to my store at least twice in the month, and they spent on average of 1,000 Rand with me. Very important to understand that. They spend on average 1,000 Rand. And this is so important when you're trying to work out where you're going in the future. So I know that I got 2 million Rand worth of revenue last month because I had 4,000 people walk into my store. 25% of them bought. So there was 1,000 people bought. They bought twice and they spent an average of 1,000 Rand. So that gives me 2 million Rand worth of revenue. I know that my profit is 25%, and therefore I made a profit of 500,000 Rand. I mean, pretty cool if you think about it. So now, how do we grow this? What if we were just to increase each of these elements in blue by just 10%? So I want to grow my leads by 400 for next month. So I want 4,400 people putting up their hand or walking through my store to say, I want to buy from you. So maybe I update my Facebook post. Maybe I implement a better sales strategy. Maybe I have a guy standing on the side of the road with a big arrow that says hardware store here. And suddenly I have 400 more people walk into my store. Then I want to get more of these people to buy. So I train my salespeople on the floor. I give them tools. I give them tricks to how to sell, how to communicate with the people. And suddenly 27.5, which is only 2.5%, but it's actually 10% of 20, 27.5% of the people buy. So, I mean, this is pretty good. So now I've got 1,210 people have bought from me. And because my staff on the floor are more friendly and more helpful, they're trying to identify what the person's challenges are that they can solve. Clients get great customer experience. They come back a little bit more often. So they come back 2.2 times. And also because I've been selling training my staff, I'm teaching my staff how to upsell. So suddenly the customers are spending an extra 100 Rand. So what I did at the one hardware store, we put super glue at the counter. Every person that came to the counter, we asked them, do you need a bottle of super glue? Now, nobody buys super glue until they suddenly don't have it. Nobody thinks to buy super glue because it's not something that's on your radar all the time. So they never sold that much super glue in their life before. And suddenly the client spends 100 Rand more. And this is a case of a person buys a tin of paint? Does he need a roller? Does he need a tray? Does he need thinners? What are all the complementary products that you sell that your customers know? And do your customers know all your product range? I mean, I had a case a couple of years back where company, great product range. I asked them it's a simple question. Do your customers know what all you sell? And they said, well, they should. They have the price list. And that doesn't work for me. Because what products do you sell that your customers need, and are you telling them about? But anyway, 210 extra people came on board. They bought 2.2 times. They spent an extra 100 Rand, and suddenly your revenue increased by 928,000 Rand to 2.9 million Rand. Now, because you also know your finances, you know where you're spending your money, you maybe increased your prices a little bit, and you're suddenly making 27.5% profit. Now, I want to ask you this question. If you had to go out tomorrow and increase your price by 2.5%, do you think any of your customers would complain? Because, I mean, yeah, we just increased the profit by 2.5. Maybe we increase price, maybe we cut some costs out, saving, we manage more what we spent, and suddenly my profits went from 500,000 to 805,000, 305,000 Rand more profit just by tweaking each of those stages. So what does that look like? I mean, it's a massive 46% increase in revenue. It's a massive 61% increase in profit. So when you have a look at my first slide or third slide, where I showed you the customers, and you think, wow, they increased their revenue by 100%, increased their profits, doubled this, doubled that. This is how they did it. Purely by small incremental changes within the business that resulted in massive results. So what would you do with an extra 305,000 Rands worth of profit in your business? What would you do with an extra 300 hours a year in your business? Possibly spend it with important people, spend it with the people you love. So it's always so important that we test and measure. You have to constantly test and measure everything that you do, so you know where you are, so you know where you're going. Warren Buffett says it's not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. I mean, very important to understand that. So how do we now build efficiency? And this is leverage. How do we build efficiency into our products? How do we leverage the products that we have? I mean, and yeah, is really a great example. Yeah, we have a VW Golf and an Audi R8. You know that both these cars are built on the same chassis? Which car do you think they make more money out of? Which car do you think they sell more of? So if we have a look at the VW Golf would move towards, I would say, a commodity product. Price driven, high volume sales. They need to turn the numbers, high numbers, in order to make the sales. You look at the Audi R8, niche market, people who have money, they're not worried about price. It's less infrastructure required to sell this car. Yes, you sell less, but you make more profit because it's a high-end car. So which would you rather have? And it's the same with your products and services, where I said to you, sell your high-margin products first. This is where you start to create leverage in your business. The other way is through systems. And this is where you save yourself time, money, and energy. So 80% of your system should be systemized, and 20% should be humanized. So when we look at the 4 areas of leverage, it's people and education. Do you have the right people, and are you educating? Your delivery and distribution. What is the customer experience, and how do you systemize delivery and distribution to ensure that your customers get consistency in terms of what they get from you? Testing and measuring. Do you know where your numbers are? And then what systems and what technology, accounting systems are you using? I mean, I've had it where smaller business say, I've got 6 million spreadsheets that I do my finances on, and it takes me like 16, 18 hours a week to do my finances. We implement a low-cost accounting system, and suddenly it takes 2 hours a week. And they've suddenly freed up all this time, and they're like, wow. So always remember, systems are so important. What is your vision statement? That is a system. What is your mission? Where are you going? That is a statement. Culture statement. Do your people know your culture, and are they working to your culture? Do you have the SMART goals? Do you have organization charts within your business? And do you have contracts? And what are the KPIs and how-to systems? So you think about the how-to systems and you say, well, I've got to keep training somebody. Every time somebody moves, I've got to train somebody. And then I've got to train somebody. Then I train that person. The next thing they don't understand, I've got to train them again. And then I've got to train them again because now they don't understand the first 2 times I told them and they're still doing it wrong. One of the things is, how do you create how-to systems? Could be videos that you record on training, KPIs. What do people have to do in order to keep their job? Organization charts. Do people know who's got to do what within your organization? Have you set your goals? And these are all systems to drive your business forward. Extremely, extremely important in your management systems. Remember something, systems run the business. People run the systems, and you lead the people. So I just want to just stop sharing for a moment, and I just want to reshare because I want to share my sound here now. So I'm just putting this back up. So I want to show you a short video on systems, and it's absolutely quite amazing to see how a system can work for you.
Stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Lou Moore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members. Tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. Tires are changed at last. A crewman polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
So really, really a great video if you think about it. And I want you to reflect right now. What are you, what have you learned so far from this? And it's just have a look at it. What have you learned? Where do you see yourself? And how can you apply this in your business right now? And we can see from the system, we can see when the people know what they're doing, you've got the right people, everyone is focused, and suddenly you compare the old system of a pit stop versus the new system of a pit stop. How does that show up in your business? So really, really great. I thoroughly enjoy that video. So while you're doing that, I just want to move on. Guys, we're close to the end, so stay in, don't jump off. I mean, I really want to reward your time at the end by giving you something, so please stay in. So team. And this is where a team equals a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you. And this for me is so, so important, because if you think about your team right now, most employees are motivated, energetic, committed, enthusiastic, and loyal, except for the 8 hours they work for you. So, I mean, it's a bit of a joke, but it's actually quite interesting, because we've seen that. I mean, the only rush you have in your business is when it's 4 o'clock and there's a rush at the door. So when we have a look at how it works, I mean, here at the top, you've got the owner, the business leader, regardless of what you are. Your job is to look after the team. The team looks after the customer looks after the business looks after the owner. The problem is you find yourself sitting here in the middle. You're looking after the owner, you're looking after the team, you're looking after the customer, you're looking after the business. And you suddenly feel that you're working so that your staff can earn a salary. And it's important to understand this, is to say, how are you engaging your team? Do you have the right team? Nelson Mandela, in one of his books, said it actually quite great, is that you've got to include your team. You've got to make your team part of the decision-making process. The team need to believe that they are part of the decision-making process. They need to feel like they were influencing the decision-making process. And they also need to be part of the glory in terms of the celebration when things go forward. So sometimes as a leader, we've got to step back and we've got to give our staff and our team the ability to move forward. So what are the keys to a strong team? Firstly, you need a strong leadership. You need common goals. You need rules of the game. You need the right action plan. You need to support risk-taking, and everyone needs to be 100% involved. So a strong leader is, are you leading by example? Does everyone know what your vision and your goal is, and do they all buy into it? Are they all working to the rules of the game? Is everybody arriving at work on time? Are they doing what's needed, or are there other people who are allowed to get away with more than others? Does everyone have an action plan of knowing where in your vision in your 90 days their role is, and what are they got to do? And do you support risk-taking? Do you relinquish a bit of control to allow them to grow? And are you having them 100% involved? So my question to you going forward is, if you were to start your business again, who of your current team would you re-employ? How many of the people that are currently working for you would you re-employ? And that's a great question, because do you have the right people on the bus? And are they operating above the point of power and below the point of power? Then we move up to systems and duplication. And this is where we get systems and results, where you start to create the freedom and you put a general manager in and your business starts to run on autopilot. Nelson Mandela said, everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. Jim Rohn says, never wish your life was easier. Wish that you were better. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. This comes back to your education, your learning, your continuous improvement. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Brad Sugar, the founder of Action Coach, says, where you will be in 5 years' time will depend on the books you read, the people you associate with, and the actions you take. Extremely, extremely important to understand that. Where are you? Where are you hanging out? Are you learning? Are you hanging out with like-minded people? Are you watching videos that are educating you? Are you reading books? Are you listening to podcasts? Where you will be in 5 years' time will depend on the books you read, the people you associate with, and the actions you take. Extremely, extremely important. So I want to share with you another video, and this is on the life of an entrepreneur.
Most people only pay attention to the final product of a successful entrepreneur. They say things like, I can never be like them, or they got lucky. What most don't see is what they've overcome. The daily rejections, the heartaches, the betrayals, the rumors, the criticism, the empty bank of their vision or reality. You see, the only difference between the one who quits and the one who doesn't is that they showed up every day. They hustled every day. They learned from a proven mentor every day. They improved every day. They did all this even though they felt like eventually they became who they are today.
So yeah, I mean, really great video. That I love it. I really think it speaks to the emotion, speaks to the people. So the question I got to ask you guys right now: what would the value of your business be if it could run without you? You know, how would the value of your business be impacted if it could run without you? And, you know, your feedback is very important. Is have you gained some insight and knowledge today that can assist you in your business? I actually want to launch this poll. This is the last poll. And I mean, we're right here at the end. So stay in, don't jump off. I mean, I really got something special for you at the end. So, I mean, really, if we just look at this and say, I'm launching the poll now, you know, how would the value of your business be impacted if it could run without you? So would the value increase drastically? Value would increase slightly or no real difference at all. I mean, it's very important to understand that if you want to sell a business one day, it needs to be able to run without you. And that impacts your selling price. You know, have you gained some knowledge and insight today that you could assist you in taking your business to the next level? And I mean, thank you guys. I mean, I really see some great action going here. So a large majority are saying to yes, value would increase slightly. And that might be because what is your vision? You need to identify your vision. And yes, all of you are saying really great, you know, have really gained some insight today. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I got someone just pitched up here. I mean, value would increase drastically. So, I mean, 71% of you are saying would increase slightly, 30% of you would say would increase drastically, and currently 100% of you saying, yes, you've really gained some insight here today. So I really want to thank you for that feedback. I'm just going to end the poll now. And yeah, so one of the things we need to look at right now with everything that you've taken in and everything that you've learned and everything you've written down today, you know, there's two directions you can take. You know, is I'm going to try and improve my business on my own, or I'm going to invest and get massive results in my business. And this is your option. You know, where you will be in 12 months' time is your choice. And this is always, because no matter what happens in 12 months' time, you'll arrive. The question is obviously where. So, you know, by working with a business coach like mine, you will, like myself, you will learn how to generate more cash flow, more profits, more team, and more free time. And this is so important to understand. And this is where you guys need to get into action. Is you need to take what you've learned here today and you need to apply it. But most importantly, what I want to do for you today is because you've invested the time in being here with me today, I would like to offer you a complimentary 1.5 hour coaching session. And that is where we just sit down for an hour and a half, you know, have a look at your business, see where it is, and see what the short, low-hanging fruits and short-term opportunities are for you to take your business to the next level. And we start off firstly by having a 30-minute Zoom call so we can get to know each other first. And then we go into the 1.5 hour complimentary coaching session. And there's some homework you have to do. You have to fill in a business feedback form, which also allows you to think a little bit more differently about your business. And then allows me to understand your business a little bit more so that we can really drill down and find some short-term solutions for your business and actions. So the question is I've actually got a feedback form that I want to share with you guys, and I really, you know, fill in this feedback form, and I'm going to show you now how it works. But your feedback is so important to me because it tells me whether I'm doing this right. Are you getting the value that I want you guys to see? Is what is your biggest takeaway from today's session? What is the one thing that you're going to walk away with that really made it worthwhile being here today? And secondly, would you like to take advantage of the complimentary session? Very important there. So Here's a QR code. I'm going to also post in the chat box the Zoom link. Take your phone, zap that QR code, and yeah, just fill in that feedback form. It's going to take you to a Google Sheet. I'm also going to post the link into the chat box, which I'm doing right now. So you can also just go into the chat box and click on the link and go in there and fill it in. And yeah, rate the session today. Give me some feedback. Let me know how it went. Did it go well? What was your biggest takeaway? And most importantly is because you've been with me here today, book that free coaching session. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, let's look and see how we can take that business to the next level. And also within that free coaching session, we also have a look and see whether or not there is an opportunity for me to work with you to take your business to that next level. So guys, really great. This brings us to the end of the session. So please feel free, see we've got some comments in the chat box. So really great to see everyone's input. It was to me directly. So very, very, very good. Yeah, Matla says, dear Peter, very enlightening and transformation session. So they are very, very happy there. So yeah, give us your feedback, fill in. I'm going to be on the call for another 5 minutes. So if you would like to chat, feel free to just unmute yourself or just raise your hand and then we can have a chat. So really great to have such a session today. And this brings us to the end. So guys, just thank you very much. All right, so I'm gonna end this session now. So just really great to see everyone. I just want to check this one. Okay, guys, great. Have a great week. What's left? It's Monday's public holiday, so have a great weekend, and then we will chat to you soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye.